Good evening, everyone. I'm Christine Romans. Every religious tradition speaks to how the faithful should handle their money. In a time where money is tight, has Americans' devotion been tested or strengthened? And how do we balance humanity's greed with good? This is In God We Trust, Faith and Money in America. Religion for centuries has been an important buffer against the human desire to acquire riches and things. It has also been accused, often and loudly, of having a greed of its own. America has the most diverse religious marketplace on the planet. Unlike most developed, wealthy countries, the United States is still abundantly religious. So after 2 years of recession, 2 years that tested Americans' pocketbooks, where do we stand? Money makes the world and its religions go round. These are some of the sights and sounds of religion in America. These are the numbers. More than 3/4 of America is Christian. 25% of Americans say they're Catholic. Almost 16% Baptist. Mainline Protestants, those are Methodists, Lutherans, Presbyterians. They make up almost 13% of adults. Another 1/5 of Americans together belong to dozens of smaller Christian denominations. 1.4% are Mormon. 1.2% are Jewish. Eastern religions, including Buddhism, make up close to 1% of adults. Muslims are 1/2 of 1%. And 15% of Americans are either agnostic or atheist. The rest either aren't sure where they fit in or didn't want to respond. Here are the trends. Megachurches, light on the cross and heavy on the oratory, are on the rise. Hispanics are the fastest growing Christian demographic, mainly Catholic. Since 1990, according to the American Religious Identification Survey, the Muslim population has doubled to more than 1.3 million. And a growing number consider themselves spiritual, but not necessarily religious. Which brings us to the financial crisis. Father Thomas Reese is a Catholic priest.
The focus has been on profit, pure and simple, no matter where you get it and how you get it, and no matter what the consequences are.
In the Christian Bible, the passage in Timothy 6:10 reads, "The love of money is the root of all evil," often misquoted as simply, "money is the root of all evil." Karen Armstrong, renowned religious scholar. Did greed and God get out of whack?
Yes, I think so. I think, you see, you've got to have some kind of counterbalance to greed, for example. If greed gets out of control and becomes the main appetite without any check, without your Buddhist walking alongside you, or without Jesus saying, the treasure doesn't help you, or the Quran saying, look, your money will not help you on the last day, the questions you'll be asked is, did you give to the poor? This counter voice is important, and I think in sort of suborning, absorbing the capitalist ethos.
An ethos often unchecked during the boom of the last 20 years.
I believe the desire to acquire stuff and wealth is perhaps the second most distinctive characteristic of Homo sapiens after sex.
Yet the monotheistic faiths built vibrant capitalist societies that improved the lives of millions.
Money is a tool to achieve objectives that we want. We want to purchase a home. We want to clothe ourselves, to shelter ourselves, to feed ourselves. We need good health care. We need a good education. So to be able to provide for oneself and for one's dependents are an essential part of faith even.
With all the getting, there is giving back. 64% of Americans regularly give to some house of worship.
In every faith tradition, there is an important aspect of charity. In our faith, it's called zakah or sadaqah, and it is one of the 5 pillars of our faith.
Judaism as well. Rabbi David Saperstein agrees money helps build and grow society, but says the religious texts decry excess.
always seek moderation. For whatever your level of wealth might be, always seek moderation. When it lives up to its potential, organized religion plays an indispensable role in creating a fairer, more just, more compassionate society.
About 38 million people every week attend religious services in this country. And in a time of crisis, like the worst economy since the Great Depression,
we slow down and begin to think about what's important in our lives. And I think we turn to family, we turn to church, we turn to God. And that's only natural. And I think it helps us to rethink our priorities.
Family, church, and God, three pillars of so many American families, if not a church, a synagogue, or a mosque. Joining us for the hour, Rabbi Mark Wolf is with the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York. Daisy Khan is the executive director of the American Society for Muslim Advancement. Lee Jenkins is an ordained minister and a financial advisor. And John Allen, CNN's senior Vatican analyst. So let's just open it up with, are people giving less? Are people stressed by what's happened, John, over the past 2, 3, 4 years? And is that being reflected in the pews?
Religion is probably the only industry in America, if I can put it in those terms, where the bottom line actually suffers when demand goes up. I mean, the reality is that churches, synagogues, and mosques are facing radically increased demand, especially for their charitable services, things like help with food and medicine, emergency shelter, and so on. And at the same time, their income is down. So the truth is, you look at a lot of congregations, they are squeezed between a rock and a hard place these days.
You're all hearing this, too, from your communities, that this is a real challenge because they have to give more at the same time less is coming in.
Absolutely. We've seen it across the board with Jewish institutions that fundraising has been down, giving has been down, but need is up.
Let me ask you, Daisy, I want to ask about this idea of greed and God getting out of whack, because there was a boom time when we acquired so many things. We had easy credit and we could buy whatever we wanted. We got into bigger houses and multiple cars. Is this part of the problem? Did we lose sight of what was important in our families and maybe we're suffering the consequences now?
Well, we are supposed to be charitable, especially in the Islamic tradition, during times of ease and during times of being tested as well, or trials, or afflictions. And afflictions are a form of blessing, because during this time you are tested in your wealth. And I'm not seeing this in the Islamic tradition. I'm seeing that people are adhering to what is a required 2.5% of their accumulated wealth. And so people are much more generous because the need is greater.
Rabbi, you say that in religion it has a guiding voice, really, and in this economy, many have gotten to this point of, you say, enoughness. What does that mean?
The idea of enoughness is sort of taking stock of exactly what it is that we have in our lives, and particularly now when we're sort of challenged in an economic situation, people begin to readdress their priorities and see how their lives are structured. The concept of enoughness is being happy with what you have, happy with your lot in life.
Let me ask you, Lee, you're a financial advisor and an ordained minister, and we have a debt problem. This is what happened in this country, and the Bible is pretty clear in several different places about debt, at least for Christians. What is happening right now with the debt and the God balance for Americans?
Well, pretty much, I think people have learned a valuable lesson. In the Bible, it's not a sin to be in debt, but debt is discouraged. It says being in debt is similar to being a slave. And so most people didn't believe that. That's how we got in this financial crisis. People who were in church didn't believe it, and people who didn't go to church didn't believe it.
Right. I think we're still in the battle-scarred part of the whole thing right now, and the healing comes next. Okay, we have a lot to talk about in the rest of the hour. Thank you all for being with you. I want you all to stay with us. Next, 3 very different families dealing with the same challenge: how to stay true to your faith without breaking the bank. Plus, our conversations with Deepak Chopra, Mitch Albom, and Joel Osteen, all coming up.